The Sigma male does not live for today's dopamine. He doesn't trade his dreams for likes. He doesn't sacrifice his legacy for instant validation. He knows one truth. If you want to be respected forever, you must be willing to be misunderstood for years. Long-term thinking isn't sexy. It's hard. It means being broke while others flaunt wealth. It means building in silence while others mock you. It means waking up at 5 a.m. to build something that won't shine for 5 years. But it's worth it, because what Sigma builds lasts. The patience to wait, the discipline to build it. A Sigma male doesn't chase quick wins. He plays the long game. He invests in the invisible, while others chase women, fame, and status. He builds skill. He builds strength. He builds silence. He builds systems because he knows when his time comes, he won't compete. He'll dominate. Let me give you a brutal real-world example. Cristiano Ronaldo. While his teammates partied, he trained. While critics laughed, he evolved. While others celebrated one season, he was planning for the next 10. He wasn't just trying to win he was planning to outlast. That's Sigma energy. Focused, obsessed, relentless. Why long-term focus is rare and powerful. Here's a fact. Most people live day to day. They only focus on what feels good now. This feels fun. This relationship is exciting. This trend is cool. But Sigma males ask a different question. Will this matter in 10 years? And if the answer is no, they drop it. No hesitation, no guilt, no fear. Because long-term thinking is a filter. It removes noise. It removes weakness. It removes people. You don't become Sigma by meditating once. You become Sigma by choosing a path that most can't even see, and walking it for years in silence. The inner game, legacy over likes. The Sigma male doesn't want to be popular. He wants to be remembered, not for being trendy, but for being true. He doesn't build a brand for Instagram. He builds impact for generations. He doesn't seek short-term pleasure. He seeks inner peace and outer power. Because he knows that men who chase pleasure become slaves to distraction. But men who build vision, they own the future. Let me take you to another real example. Bruce Wayne, the Batman. When his world shattered as a child, he could have become bitter, broken, lost. But he chose a path, a mission, a purpose. He trained for years, alone. He studied the enemy, alone. He prepared a war, alone. And then he returned. As a force, a shadow, a legend. That's Sigma, not built in a month. Built in pain, purpose, and patience. Building the Sigma life from now on. You may be wondering, Runa, how do I build a legacy when I'm still trying to survive? Start with these questions. What do I want to be known for when I die? What would I do if no one ever clapped? What would I build if I didn't need attention? Your answers will scare you. They will isolate you. They will test you, but they will also free you. Sigma males are not born fearless. They just choose courage over comfort. They feel fear, but they move anyway. And that movement, it may look slow, but it's moving mountains. One book, one representative, one decision, one silent day at a time. Final transformation. You become what you repeat. If you repeat distraction, you become scattered. If you repeat excuses, you become weak. But if you repeat focus, discipline, solitude, purpose, you become unstoppable. Sigma males don't have perfect lives. They don't avoid pain. They embrace it. They alchemize it. They use it as fuel. They are forged in loneliness, tempered by rejection, sharpened by patience, and driven by something deeper than ego. Meaning. The last truth. Why you must choose the path alone. This isn't a movement. This isn't a hashtag. This isn't a club. This is a way of thinking. A war you fight in your own mind. A battle you'll lose every day you choose comfort over calling. But one day when they ask, where were you all these years? You'll look them in the eyes and say, I was building something you'll never understand. And they'll feel it. Not in your words, but in your aura, in your strength, in your calm, in your power. Because real Sigma energy doesn't speak, it radiates. And those who feel it, never forget it. Part 3. Closing statement. Become the 1%. So now you know the final Sigma rule. Think long-term. Focus on legacy. Build quietly. Appear loudly. Sigma males don't show up every day to prove a point. They show up every day because they have one. This is your time, not to scream, not to convince, but to build, to evolve, to become. Because in a world full of noise, you become unforgettable by being silent, focused, rare, and real. One day they'll ask how you did it, and you'll just smile. Because you did it without them, without noise, without doubt. You did it like a Sigma. Death. In a world that celebrates noise, those who speak less are often ignored. In a society addicted to attention, silence is mistaken for weakness. But Sigma males know something the world forgets. Silence isn't absence, it's power. Let's talk about the third rule of the Sigma mindset, not just with logic, but with emotion, psychology, and real-life fire. Rule 3. Power of silence. Speak less, observe more. Sigma males are not silent because they're afraid. They are silent because they're watching, they're studying the room, they're analyzing energies, they're absorbing truth. Words can be manipulated, emotions can be faked. But behavior? Behavior never lies. And Sigma males are masters of reading what isn't spoken. In meetings, they observe who's insecure, who's arrogant, who's overcompensating. In relationships, they observe patterns, not promises. In friendships, they measure actions, not smiles. Because silence gives you the greatest weapon of all, clarity. Let me take you into a real-life example. Keanu Reeves, one of the most respected men in Hollywood. Not because he talks too much, not because he flaunts, but because he holds a mystery. He doesn't chase cameras, he doesn't post for attention, and yet the whole world listens when he speaks. Why? Because he doesn't speak unless he means it, because he chooses silence, and that choice gives him power. Now compare that to most people today. Desperate for likes, approval, or viral fame, but Sigma males, they choose to be unreadable. They know the quieter you become, the more you can hear. And once you master silence, you become impossible to manipulate, because no one knows what you're thinking. No one knows what you'll do next. And that makes you powerful. And dangerous. How silence builds mental strength. When you stop reacting, you start analyzing. When you stop explaining, you start elevating. When you stop justifying, you start growing. The Sigma male doesn't need to defend himself, because truth doesn't shout. He doesn't need to argue, because fools argue, the wise walk away. Here's the truth. The man who reacts the least is the man who wins the most. You don't become a Sigma by talking like one. You become one when your silence speaks louder than their noise. Rule 4. Learn alone, grow alone, build your mind in the shadows. Society wants you to believe that you need a coach, a guide, a mentor at every step. But Sigma males know this secret. The greatest transformations happen when no one's watching. Yes, learning from others is valuable, but the deepest learning happens when it's just you. Your failures, your thoughts, and your hunger. Sigma males are self-educators. They read, they reflect, they experiment, not to show off knowledge, but to evolve. Let me take you into a dark but inspiring example. Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest minds in history. Do you know how he became that genius? He spent years alone in deep thought, working on machines the world called mad. He barely had money, barely had recognition, but he had something others didn't. Focus. He didn't need validation. He needed truth. And that's what Sigma males chase. Truth, not applause. Why learning alone is dangerous and necessary. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's isolating. Yes, it might even break you at times, but guess what? That solitude builds mental muscle. That isolation teaches you resilience. That quiet journey makes your success unshakable. When others need noise to feel alive, you build your soul in silence. Sigma males know. While the world is scrolling, they are studying. While the world is partying, they are preparing. While the world is sleeping, they are shaping their future. They don't post motivational quotes, they live them. They don't flex ambition, they quietly build. And one day, they arrive. Not as noise, but as a storm. The inner world of the Sigma and why he's mentally unbreakable. There's something else you need to know. Sigma males have been through pain, not once, not twice, but enough times to realize the only person who will always have your back is you. They've been lied to, used, forgotten, betrayed. But instead of becoming weak, they became silent warriors. They learned to eat alone, sleep alone, grow alone, heal alone, win alone. And that independence doesn't make them bitter. It makes them brilliant. Their mind becomes a fortress. No one can break in unless they open the gate, and very few get to even knock. They don't need 100 friends. They just need peace of mind. They don't crave attention. They crave progress. And when the world mocks them for being different, they smile, because they are different. In a world that glorifies loudness, competition, and dominance, there exists a rare breed of individuals who operate silently, without noise or validation, yet command respect, fear, and curiosity. These are the Sigma males. They don't seek leadership like alphas, and they don't submit like betas. They simply exist beyond the hierarchy. Outliers who follow no crowd, bow to no master, and belong to no system. The world misunderstands them, society ignores them, and yet deep inside, every man somewhere wishes he could be like them. But Sigma isn't about acting mysterious or brooding like a movie character. It's a mindset, a way of thinking and living that is cultivated in silence, through pain, self-awareness, and emotional independence. Let me take you into that mindset. And as you walk this path, you'll discover the first rule of becoming a Sigma. Self-sufficiency is your greatest strength. Rule 1. Learn to walk alone. Self-sufficiency is your power. When you were a child, maybe you relied on others for emotional comfort, support, or clarity. But as life moved on, you realized the bitter truth. No one is coming to save you. No one will walk your path for you. No one will fix your life. And the Sigma male understands this not just as a lesson, but as a foundation for how he lives. Self-sufficiency isn't about being antisocial. It's about being emotionally bulletproof. The Sigma male walks alone not because he can't find company, but because he knows that clarity is born in solitude. When others chase distractions, Sigma retreats into focus. When others need approval, Sigma listens only to his inner compass. When others fear silence, Sigma finds power in it. Let's take an example. John Wick. Yes, he's a fictional character, but every Sigma male finds some mirror in his arc. After losing his wife, instead of begging the world for sympathy, he quietly goes through grief, pain, and eventually revenge. Not with noise, not with speeches, but with cold precision. He operates alone. He lives alone. And he doesn't seek comfort in company. His mission is his company. This is not loneliness. This is liberation. In real life, think about Elon Musk. He walked away from PayPal when he could have stayed safe. He started SpaceX, slept on factory floors, and ate noodles to survive the burn rate, while people mocked him, called him crazy, and left him alone. But that solitude made him stronger. And today, he's not just a businessman. He's a force of nature. That's what self-sufficiency does. It turns wounds into weapons. It turns silence into a strategy. It turns a man into a mystery that nobody can decode. But to get there, you must do one thing. Stop needing people to validate your worth. Rule 2. Stop people-pleasing. Seek respect, not attention. One of the deadliest traits that kills men slowly is the urge to please everyone, to smile when you're hurting, to agree when you disagree, to remain silent just so others feel comfortable. Sigma males don't play that game. They've burned that mask a long time ago. You see, people-pleasing is a disease. It starts with small things. Saying yes when you want to say no. Staying in toxic friendships, allowing others to walk over your boundaries just because you fear confrontation. But Sigma men are not afraid of confrontation. They are not afraid of being disliked. They know, if everyone likes you, you're not being real. Let me give you a raw example. Imagine you're in a group of friends. Everyone's laughing at something unethical. maybe mocking someone's pain. You feel it's wrong, but you stay quiet because they're your friends or you fear you'll lose your place. That's beta energy. A Sigma would stand up, not loudly, not to impress. He'd just calmly say, "This isn't right," and walk away. Why? Because he doesn't care about losing fake friends. He only cares about keeping his inner peace. Remember, the world respects a man with boundaries, a man who chooses truth over trend, a man who doesn't need to be liked just to be himself. You don't attract true power by being agreeable. You attract it by being real. Let me take you into a real story. Muhammad Ali. When the US government wanted him to go to war, he refused. Not because he was afraid, but because his values were more important than popularity. He lost his championship, his career, his endorsements, and still didn't bow. That's Sigma, a man who walks away from everything the world offers because he refuses to betray himself. That's the power of not people-pleasing. The deep core of the Sigma, emotional independence. You see, behind every Sigma male is a past full of betrayal, rejection, or loneliness. But instead of becoming bitter, he becomes better. He doesn't harden his heart, but sharpens his mind.